is New Day Northwest. Now, here's Margaret Larson.
Good morning, everybody. We kick off today with the Tony-winning musical Ragtime. Set in New York City at the turn of the century, the production weaves three stories together with the common thread of making tomorrow brighter. Performing Sarah Brown Eyes, please welcome Douglas Lyons and Danyel Fulton.
What's your name?
Sarah.
I'm Coal House.
I know.
There was no music in my heart tonight. Melodies kept refusing to flow. One look at you, now every note feels right. Coming out all sweet and slow.
You tell stories like your hands play tunes.
Sweetest tune I know is Sarah Brown Eyes. Don't be shy now. Sarah Brown Eyes ought to take a chance. The stars are silver notes across that sky now. Sarah Brown Eyes, come, let's dance.
I never heard music quite like yours. Where'd you learn how to play it that way? Was I smart? I'd walk right out those doors.
Then I've got to make you stay. Nothing for it but a ragtime tune on that piano. Sarah Brown Eyes, don't be shy now. Sarah Brown Eyes ought to take a chance. The stars are silver notes across that sky now. Sarah Brown Eyes, come, let's dance.
Woo! Hi! So good to meet you. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank
You
you for
guys
having
are
us.
so good. What a sweet courting song. That's just like touches your heart, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Tell me about your character.
My character's name is Sarah. She is the love interest of Coal House. They get together in Harlem in the early 1900s, and they have some situations going on, and they find their way back to each other. And this song is resembling when they first met.
Right. And obviously you play Coal House. Tell me more about him.
He's a musician, he's a ladies' man.
I could tell that.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know?
A little bit too much.
I was all over that. I had that.
Oh, okay. Good, good. A little bit too much of a ladies' man to the point where he almost loses her.
Uh-oh.
But they restore their relationship, and unfortunately, it turns out against them a little bit. But their love, I think, lasts forever, regardless of the circumstances that they're living in at the time.
And so all of this is based on a beloved book. How long had you known about this story before you were cast?
Well, I guess since high school, when I was introduced to musical theater, I didn't actually know there was a book until recently. It was written in 1975. I didn't know, and I started reading it during this process. But I've always wanted to play Sarah, so this is
Did you
amazing.
pick up something more by reading the book, some extra depth for her?
Absolutely. I think the musical takes what they could to make it just a good production. There's a lot more that goes into her character in the book, but we'll see it through the song Daddy's Son in the show too. Yeah.
And when you know that, you can
Absolutely.
weave that into the
Absolutely.
depth of your character. What about you?
Absolutely.
Had you read the book already?
I had not read the book. I grew up on Ragtime. So when I went to college, I went to the Hart School at the University of Hartford in Connecticut. And it was the first CD, musical theater CD, that my parents got me.
Seriously?
Yes. So this is like a full circle moment. And I sang Make Them Hear You, which is his big 11 o'clock number in college all the time. So I've been familiar with the show, but now that I think I'm around the right age, it's sort of a blessing to have the opportunity to play the role.
This seems like a multi-generational family sort of show. Anybody can come and enjoy this, and maybe for kids, really great to be introduced to ragtime music if they haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's a beloved musical style. It was a change. This is when syncopation came into music, and I think these stories weave, and it's all about family and really about how much we need one another,
right.
you know, and sometimes we obviously forget that, but the story is about needing someone and not knowing it, and then realizing that, you know, when times are hard and you look around, the very person that you might have pushed away is the person that you need.
That seems timely right now. Does it feel timely to you?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
It really shows a reflection, unfortunately, to what's going on right now. But that's what makes the story so relevant, and that's why it needs to be produced and seen, because it really, really shows, you know, what the climate looked like in the early 1900s and how, unfortunately, it still looks like that today.
Right. Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's good if you can take yourself out of contemporary times and you can see something from an historical perspective. Maybe you can read some things into that and learn some lessons that you might not if it were set in current times.
Well, I think art also reminds us of our history, and sometimes we forget that we've already been through these things. We've lived this before.
We have to learn these things again.
We have to learn them, and I think as artists and as, you know, theater folk, it's our responsibility to hold up a mirror to people and go, we've been here before, can we not do this again?
Right.
So I think Ragtime is really relevant right now, and I think especially Peter's production, it's going to really move the audiences. We're taking on responsibilities in a new way. It's a smaller production. There's only 19 people. I think the original was a cast of 50. So we're responsible for each other's story, as Peter puts it. And
Amazing.
I think it's bringing us together in a way that we need right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Fifth Ave has been great for launching musicals, for reinterpreting musicals, for bringing us, you know, such a rich cultural experience in Seattle. Did you know much about that when you were cast?
This is my first time in Seattle. I knew Fifth Avenue was amazing. So playing this role for itself is awesome. Playing this role at this theater in this city is awesome. And playing this role at this theater in this city, in this particular production, just takes the entire cake.
And we're looking at some of the pictures now.
Hey, John.
I'm going to listen to it just a little bit. Can you turn it up? A little bit of rehearsal.
You got a high C on that?
No, I don't, but that was the best syncopation, punctuation I could do.
Good.
So tell me about where you're from and your background.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
I'm an East Coast girl. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's
you
nice
can just
over
enjoy
here,
the
though.
West Coast
I like
while you're here.
I like it. Seattle actually is not too foreign for me because it's such a good city. Yeah, I grew up just loving theater, not knowing that I love theater. I just found myself on the stage everywhere I went. It was just a natural thing for me to do. And then when I got to high school, I was like, I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to act. Let me do it together.
Let me do all this.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, born and raised. I grew up there, and I went to school in Hartford, the Hart School. And I actually have been in Seattle 3 times on tour at the Paramount with Rent, the Book of Mormon, and Dreamgirls.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm actually...
That's another great venue, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm actually writing a show for the Fifth as a writer as well.
Awesome.
So I've been here a lot in the past year working on that, and then I got the call that I got this, and I would be here as an actor.
That is amazing.
So, yeah.
Thank you both so much for being here
so
this
much for
morning.
having me.
Enjoy the performance so much. Ragtime runs October 13th through November 5th at Seattle's Fifth Avenue Theater. You can find the times and ticket links on our website, and everybody here is getting a free pair of tickets to the show. So enjoy that. We'll all come together. When we come back, a 10-year-old from Ballard wins a national award for saving wildlife halfway around the world. His amazing story is next.